I mean, we can just say that we're late because of software issues, which is also something that we'll be discussing later in the podcast. So, yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
It's live now. Yeah, it's live now. Is it live?
Is it? Can you?
Nope, not yet. At least not for me.
Yeah.
Then why is okay? But I think your stream hasn't loaded into YouTube. He's calling me again.
Okay. I mean, we can just go for another link and then it should work. Alright.
I mean, if because the I don't know, this link has been spread around, so I think it's better to just go with this. Just apologize for being late and shit like that, and just move on.
True, but then if I can't go live, then what do we do? Oh yeah, now we're live. We are live. Oh, wow. Okay.
We are live.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just wait for software issues, which is also something that we'll be discussing later in the podcast. So,
yeah.
I think we're good. Okay, just call me.
all right, Farouk, you're on.
Hello, Madrid sisters. Once again, welcome to our podcast.
Let's go.
Sorry for being late. We had some technical difficulties, but fortunately, our technology officer, Mr. Yadu, was been finally able to fix it.
Even
So
Toki as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, I mean, we're back on, which is kind of interesting because all the software will be something that we'll be discussing later in the podcast. So, yeah, see what we have to say.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so today we'll be doing something different, people. Today we'll be talking about the transfers, the European transfer season. So as we know, it's transfer season, and a lot of moves have been made so early in the market. So yeah, let's just get into it. But firstly, I'd like to ask you guys, like, we've been watching football for a while, but have we ever seen such a June, or should I say, that has been so busy? Because I think like a lot of teams have actually even finished their business. I think, for example, Real, we can see our club actually has finished its business, and June is not even over yet, or rather, today is the first day of July. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let's start with you, Adu.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's been dry for some reason, or it's felt dry because everybody is making so many moves quite early on. All of the news that came out was, I guess, reported early on. There weren't any shocks. There aren't so many transfers that make you go, "Oh wow, this is happening." Oh no, no, there's no sensational news. There's just news that you've been more or less expecting. Um, I guess that's pretty much it for me. One of the interesting things that I picked up was something that Tony Cruz said in his podcast. He just said that it might not be Real's last transfer this window, but I take it with a pinch of salt because it's yeah. He was the guy who said that Zidane would be staying, and I've been hurt once before, and I'm not ready to get hurt again. And I think that yeah, most of the clubs have finished their business. I think. What do you think, Sunay?
Me, To be honest, I've been zoned out because like we have done the early bit of business and kind of gone into incognito for the meanwhile. I think we might pounce on something that seems worth it if the right opportunity comes by. But yeah, I'll just keep it reserved for when the guys at the Bernabeu.
Okay, then speaking of the Bernabeu, I think let's start directly with our direct rivals. Like as we heard in the recent days, Barcelona actually secured some funds by mortgaging some of their future for the next 25 years, and also they're actually letting go of a very very valuable player. Actually, I think maybe because he's one of the most valuable players in the squad, Frankie De Jong. There have been rumors that have been saying that he has agreed to join Eric Ten Hag's United. Also, the two clubs has come to an agreement. Sunil, what do you think about this transfer?
Firstly, absolutely zero sympathy for Dion. I could appreciate his skills as a professional footballer, but his antiques on the mic, you know, is of a guy who has won multiple World Cups. You know, has featured in multiple Champions League winning squads. But yeah, man, like a lot of talk and you know not much action. That's what has been De Jong's Barca career summed up in a sentence. But this move is genuinely a step down from Barcelona, who like yeah, they might be lending off 10% of their rights to La Liga and whatnot, but they're still a bigger club than United. And even in their worst state, Barcelona is always a bigger club than United. And this current state of affairs at United, man, like how much more drab can it actually get? Like you got a bald man running the stuff. They think he's gonna be the next Zidane. Like he has this whole philosophy and way of playing football in fucking Eredivisie. Like no disrespect though, but these guys' expectations need to be measured. Again, so that they can be more realistic of what they aspire to be. Especially when your main man is looking to get out. If I'm going to a club and Cristiano is the main guy there and he wants to get out after being dumbed down into Europa League, you might think twice. But I think this is more of a Dutch connection and some big money bagging basically for De Jong. This I don't think this would do his career any benefits. That's just my opinion.
Okay, so Sunaid is saying it's a step down going from Barcelona to Manchester United. But then considering the state of what both teams are in right now, like Yedu, would you actually consider these a step down? Because the point is eventually, like most likely, if Barcelona were in the Premier League, they wouldn't have qualified for the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
And also, let me just lay this to you as well. The thing now becomes this, because right now United are lacking midfielders. With the departure of Juan Mata and Paul Pogba, just to name a few. Right now, like he goes there and he becomes the general of the midfield. So I don't know what will be your take on this.
I disagree with Sunaid in that part because I believe in Ten Hag. I believe that the Ajax that he built and that the one that he nurtured, it makes a lot of sense for De Jong to go back to his roots, to go back to Erik Ten Hag.
You gotta actually realize, right? Ajax is no feeder club. They are the biggest club in Netherlands.
Exactly. Yeah, Ajax is huge, and I'm saying this with all the respect that I have, to not disrespect Erik Ten Hag. Never look down on Erik Ten Hag. I believe that he can do better things with United than what has been done, if that makes sense. I guess it's a new era with Erik Ten Hag's United, and what's lacking in Barcelona, all the financial mismanagement, they're still a couple of steps behind. And for him to remain fighting at Barcelona, it might make sense, but the route that his career has taken, I think this is the right step for him in his career at this point.
But should I just slightly interrupt you and tell you the main difference between United and Barcelona? Barcelona is still a socio-owned club, right? Like it's owned by the fan.
Here's the thing, right?
United,
Does it matter to a player if that is the
yeah, yeah,
case? I mean, he's
yeah.
he's trying
I get it.
to he's trying to make his. I mean, these are the. I think these will be the best years of his career, or the age suggests it that it should be.
Mm,
So
mm,
then, yeah, if there's any chance that he can make it back into the golden books of Europe by going to United, by being the man for their fans. Everybody knows that United fans equals money bags, which is also something that you would consider as a player at that point. To play with Ronaldo, to play with Messi, is something that he's had the grace for. And I guess this makes sense for him, for the club, yes, because they want young players who are hungry, who want to create something out of the midfield that they have. Yeah, they're struggling, but then I think this connection makes sense. I have no idea what United will end up in the season, after the
mm.
season, but then yeah, this
I'll tell you,
this
Europe
thing,
again.
this connection makes sense.
Actually, yeah. So the thing now that's you actually pointed right. So that's the thing. Like for United, this is a very good move. Okay. For Frankie De Jong also, it's also a good move in the sense that he's reuniting with the boss who promoted him and nurtured him into the
Yeah.
superstar who eventually secured the move to Barcelona.
Hmm.
And then also for Barcelona, this also makes sense because now this allows Barcelona to delve into the market and
Mm,
eventually finalize deals for players such as Frank Kessié and Christensen who are both free agents who are
mm,
being reportedly agreed deals with Barcelona, but because of the current financial situation, Barcelona are unable to register them or announce their transfers. And also, even more importantly, a marquee signing in Lewandowski. Like the departure of Frankie De Jong and the money he's gonna fetch would actually allow Barcelona to move for Lewandowski. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Though, like with Lewandowski's old agent coming out and saying, although it might just be all bullshit and horse crap, but he was
yeah.
saying that Lewandowski wants to come to Barcelona to prove that he's better than Karim Benzema and what is not. So I would first let you take the mic and just firstly, can you just address the fact that selling Frankie De Jong, a guy who is not yet in his prime, who can develop to be the general of the team, to get in someone who is just in the final, the swan song of his career. What do you think about that? Even though it's Lewandowski here.
Yeah, the first thought that I had when I read this is that Lewandowski is coming for a vacation to La Liga. But then the more I thought about it, it makes sense if he wants to compete with Benzema, if he wants to end his career as, I don't know, it's basically bandages at this point. All the older players that they're bringing in, they have a big wound and then they're just putting bandages across it instead of actually dressing up the wound and healing it. But all of the bullshit that has been said has been more or less because of Barcelona's transfer tactics. It's just what they do. They hit up the players, they hit up the managers, they hit up the agents and makes everybody go against each other. And from what it looks like, it doesn't. It doesn't look like Bayern's falling to that tactic. They're trying to keep him because they don't get the money, which is something that the other clubs weren't able to do. Does this move make sense? For me, it doesn't. Again, I'm not the biggest supporter of Barcelona, but to them this might mean hope because he's an absolute legend of a player. Do I see him rivaling Benzema next season? No. That's pretty much
I
it.
see.
Yeah.
So Sunay, what would you say? Like, I think Yadu actually gave the full stop there. Like, he doesn't see him as a rival to Karim Benzema. So, do you think like the arrival of Lewandowski, in the Spanish La Liga, does it eventually also bring Barcelona back to the old glory days?
Like he said, like I would allude to his earlier point of this being a bandage. Again, a bandage that is way past the age, a profile of age that Barcelona should be aspiring to attract. And Lewandowski is a certified bagger. Like he backs goals, right? Like anyway he goes, he has the knack to get goals. And Barcelona, for all their free flowing football, for like couple of months towards the latter stage of the season, they still lacked goal in them, especially in the Europa run. So Lewandowski might actually provide them that, and it would take a little bit pressure off people like Ferran Torres, people like Aubameyang, who can maybe try and flourish away from the spotlight a bit.
But here's the
So
thing, right? The reason that I'm saying that he won't rival Benzema is because they're lacking creativity in the midfield that allows them to
yeah,
do the stuff that they want to do up front, especially with the departure of De Jong. There needs to be a creative outlet that allows players on the spot, like Aubameyang or like Lewandowski, to convert that into goals. To see how he
you
would
don't think
adapt to it is a completely different question. But I'm sorry, go on. Yeah.
no, like you don't think players like Pedri and Gavi are enough for Barcelona to create.
They're stepping up, but they're not at the level yet where bringing a target man into the mix equals
Mm,
goals. I don't think so.
mm.
At this point, I would like to wait a couple of seasons and get them to develop a lot more. Because right now,
Oh,
I don't think it's a, yeah,
one second. Let me ask you. So
yeah.
the age-old question that Lewandowski is just a goal scorer
No,
and
that's not
he's
it.
nowhere near has the playmaking abilities of Benzema. So is that true? I'm just going on by hearsay, So I
I
don't
think
keep.
that I think the point now becomes this, like when you start talking about the playmaking of Benzema, like I think very very few players have that, not even strikers.
Yeah, the way
Mm,
that
So
Benzema drops in deep, I don't think Lewandowski. I know that Lewandowski doesn't do that. So then there, but then the question is it needed in a team such as Barcelona?
mm,
So that's completely two completely different questions. In a team such as Bayern, when there's physicality involved, when there's a lot of running,
mm,
when there's a lot
mm.
of ball collection by the people who work in the midfield and at the back, and at
Yeah.
Barcelona where it doesn't, the playing styles are different, and that I think it's a question for Lewandowski to answer that he can do it. The question
Mm,
if he will do it. If you ask me what I think, I would say not straight away, and that is actually the reason that I said that he wouldn't rival Benzema. Not yet,
mm,
okay,
anyway.
okay. Let me just drop this to you guys. So now, Sunny directly brought up the point of creativity and what is not. So I would just say to you this: now we know that Usman Dembele, right? This is a player that, if motivated, we saw at the last 6 months of the season. I think he had the most assists in the league, but after like for the first 6 months, he was just garbage. So the point is that we can see that he's one of the most deadly wingers out there. For me personally, like seeing him at Dortmund, I could remember, and then also his first few months at Barcelona as well. I was just like, yeah, this is the guy, man. Like this guy is like the one who is just below the level of Mbappe. So that's the thing. So my question to you guys would only be this: like, would you guys pay the big bucks for Usman Dembele right now? Because that's the point, right? So Barcelona has made an offer for him, but he's still holding out for a bigger offer. Right now, he's officially a free agent, and there are rumors linking him with Chelsea as well. So I mean, given the fact that this is Usman Dembele, someone who has shown that he's hardly always motivated and he's almost always injured. Like, would you pay the big bucks for such potential?
A roll
Me
of the
I don't know.
dice,
Can
personally,
you?
isn't it? Roll of the dice.
Yeah.
If it comes up, I mean, it's like flipping a coin. If he's injured, there's no reason. If he's on his feet and he's playing well, world class on his day. But that's the thing, world class on his day. Is he a dependable player? I don't know.
no.
The,
Okay.
the fans outside are calling ambulances and saying "Vamos Dembele" whenever an ambulance passes. That's completely
It's
different.
not really down to injuries. Like injuries would make it seem that he doesn't have a part to play in his a very inconsistent career so far. It's also his very unprofessional behavior at times. I know
Yeah.
as of late, Xavi has turned things around with him, but he has the tendency to throw in a tantrum when things don't go his way.
I see. Because I personally believe that, I was just thinking about what you guys are saying. Like the point now is that if I'm Barcelona, although the
Mm,
contract has not officially expired, I'm thinking if I'm getting someone like Lewandowski in there, and I know that Usman Dembele is a creative machine, I know that
mm,
I have to tie this guy down. But then now already he's a free agent, so I don't know how they will work that deal into, because renewing and giving a new after the contract is expired and giving a new contract is a whole different ball game. Anyways, I will just try to end this Lewandowski discussion with you, Yadu, because of your, you're more familiar with the German Bundesliga. So now Bayern has gotten Sadio Mane, so who has also played as a number 9 for Liverpool for extended period of time.
Yep.
So I will ask you two questions, like how much fanfare, like, because to be honest, like Bundesliga has always been exporting talents. It's been very rare that we are, except if we're seeing a returning German international, but it's been very rare that we're seeing, a genuine superstar, a Ballon d'Or candidate, who is actually willingly choosing to go to the Bundesliga. So how much fanfare has this generated in the atmosphere of soccer in Germany? And then secondly, how much do you think this will soften the blow of the event, of the probable departure of Lewandowski?
First things first, the Bundesliga loves money. I'm personally excited to go watch him play, hopefully soon. Once the season starts and the tickets start becoming available, I'm heading out either to Munich or to Dortmund to watch the big game. And the fans love him. He's created waves. Everybody's calling him the king, and then he's humbly saying, "No, I'm not the king." Which has not happened in England, which is why I believe that he will find a home in Munich. At Bayern, he will be supported by his teammates, and I think it's a good swap of sorts, just to pick Lewandowski out, put Mane in. He's played as a number 9. He's played as the target man, and I think it's a good exchange. I'm happy for Mane, and I'm really excited to see him play. I think he'll do well.
Okay. All right, then. Before we move on, I would just, like to give a shout out to Real Madrid committee. There are colleagues on Instagram. They've, put up a lot of our posts and whatnot. So guys, just check them out. The links to their socials will be in the description of the video. Please just check them out and show them your love. Okay. So,
Farooq, one sec. Are you keeping an eye on the live chat? If you have
I'm saying like some guys are discussing it. I'm writing some things as well. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So
just read it down. Like if it's anything in the conversation.
That's what I was gonna do right now. So here we have Mo in the chats, and he's actually talking about the fact that how much is Dembele actually unprofessional? Most of it, is it just or is it just Barcelona's press? I don't know. Like Sunaid, would you like to say something about that?
I didn't get that. What was it? Was it Barcelona's what?
Like you're saying, how much is Dembele unprofessional? Like, is he really unprofessional, or is it just Barca's media stirring shit up?
And in my opinion, even in Dortmund, he has had his fair share of troubles. So yeah, Barcelona is known for stirring shit about their own players, but Dembele is also partly at fault, in my opinion.
I see. Also, another one here comes like, okay, let's give this to you. Like about the fact that Pedri is much more better for Barcelona than Frankie de Jong. So like eventually the departure of de Jong wouldn't be felt much because of the presence of Pedri.
Eventually, there's the word again. Eventually, Barca's looking at stopgaps, and this is what I talked about, bandages. Right now, at this instant, I mean, I agree. In the long term, Pedri will be a better successor to their legendary midfield, much more than Frankie de Jong ever was. But right now, is Pedri enough? Is the question.
I guess. Well, actually, that's a very valid sentence. The point is, eventually, at this moment in time, what happens? Anyways, I guess let's just enjoy while we can, as much as Barca keeps getting their shit done. I could remember those days, man, when every time whatever we do, we still couldn't win the league. Like we just kept on going. I could remember. I think the Pellegrini season, I can't remember. I think we had 99 points, or what did we have, and we still couldn't win the league. And those were garbage days. Let them also get the garbage days as well. Okay, then moving on. So right now, for whatever reason, in the Premier League, we seem to have a Brazilian roulette going on, with a couple of Brazilian players, attackers mostly, just switching clubs and swapping around. So yeah, let's start from from London, North London to be exact, and the right side of North London. We can see Gabriel Jesus moving from Man City to Arsenal to join to join his fellow Brazilian Gabriel Martinelli there. So the point now becomes this like, for me personally, right? I've always felt like Gabriel Jesus is a player that works, presses, excites a lot, but still wouldn't give you the goals. But then the thing now becomes it's like you can counter this and say that okay, at City he's always never been the main striker. He's always either been a support to Sergio Kun, or he's always just, as in the past couple of seasons, played on the wing. As a, I don't know, yeah, just for the pressing, the hard work down the wing, and what is and what is not. So I will just start with you, Sunaid, here. Like, do you actually think that Gabriel Jesus can be the solution to the lack of goals from Arsenal? Because we saw it last season. If Arsenal had goals, they had fourth place instead of Spurs. This is it, guaranteed. But they don't have goals. They were unable to get the goals. And because of that, they paid the price to qualify for the Europa League. So do you think Gabriel Jesus is the guy to lead them to the promised land?
Personally, no. Because
That's such an easy answer.
Personally, no. Because, see, I'm a huge advocate of Gabriel Jesus as well, because he's Brazilian, and I like the flair he brings, especially for a guy who plays striker. He's pretty silky on the ball, and his versatility is going to be a huge asset as well. But man, his goal scoring is. See, Arsenal are used to strikers who really good. Like as of late, it's been pretty bad. But if you look at Arsenal's great strikers, people like Ian Wright, people like Henry, like the expectations are huge, and I don't think
that was 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago. The last great striker, the last good striker, the last decent striker that they had was Aubameyang on his day, more or less.
And Aubameyang, don't you think Aubameyang is at least a couple of levels above Jesus, at least, on his prime?
In his prime, yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Jesus wouldn't solve Arsenal's goal-scoring issues entirely. Maybe if someone chips in from the wing, and like if goals are shared all across the attack, maybe then. But this shouldn't have been the priority signing. But I guess old school strikers who bag are a rarity in this game. Like it's mad to say that, because I grew up in an era where it was completely dominated by very prolific strikers who had their own modus operandi. Like there was no ball playing striker, or like false nine, or like target man. It was a perfect blend. Nowadays, the quality of top strikers are so low that people tend to look into all this with microscopic lens.
Here's the thing, right? Here's where I disagree. Yeah. I think that Jesus has been a player who has been underutilized, if that makes sense. He came into Pep's system, and then Pep didn't really know what to do with him. So then he ended up playing all the things that Pep wanted him to. So then I'm excited as to see what he can do with Arsenal, because they have a promising young core, if that makes sense. And to combine him with that sort of potential. It could be the second wave in his career. It could be.
This Arsenal team, in my opinion, would have benefited from a guy like Ibra. Like not someone who is 40, but someone of
his caliber, of his leadership skills,
skills, basically, who can actually guide these young guns to where they want to be. Because Arsenal come under so much pressure, like the expectations versus the actual reality is so far off. It's crazy. So
I mean, counterpoint. That's what Man U did with Cristiano, and then it hasn't worked out, has it?
Bro, you got to realize the levels of shite that goes on in Manchester is different. We have at least some kind of hope. You look at the team in United, you have Maguire, who is still captain. Right?
He might not be, but I hear that he might not be, yeah.
But still, he was captain for 2 years, right?
Fair.
So,
yeah.
But I mean, so it's also down to the youngsters, ain't it? Like, for example, we had news and rumors about the fact that and also you could also, I think also Cristiano gave a interview about that saying like some of these young players aren't willing to listen. So the point now becomes like it's no longer like before where teams players comes into the teams and what is not. And like I think you're trying to relate this to what happened in Milan, with the Rafael Leaos and the Tio Hernandez's and the Frank Casey's and what is not. But the point now becomes this like Arsenal right now, have Bukayo Saka who is like having meetings with the Queen. You get like you have the Norwegian captain in Martin Odegaard. You have what's it called, Smith-Rowe. These are England internationals. You have the goalkeeper as well. Like his head is just going bigger and bigger by the praises he's getting. So that's the thing. Like, but then you go to Milan. Milan is a team of outcasts. All these players have been told they aren't good enough. Beat Benacer, beat KCA, beat even Mike Maignan, the goalkeeper as well. You can even put it to that. These are team of outcasts. These are people who have a point to prove.
Mike Maignan wasn't an outcast. He was one of the best goalkeepers in Ligue 1 before he joined us. So I mean,
I get that, but what I'm saying to you now is that like these players don't have the profile of these youngsters in Arsenal. Don't have the profile of the youngsters at United.
You know how Premier League media works.
That's why I use the word profile, right? That's the profile. Profile is all about your media presence, right? So that's the thing. That's the profile I'm talking about. So like right now, it's much more easier for Zlatan to go to likes of Theo Hernandez, Ismail Benacer, the likes, the Leaos and what is not, and be able to do this to them. But the point now becomes this:
you compare the dressing room of United and Arsenal. United has a very toxic dressing room where they know that this guy shouldn't be captain, this guy shouldn't be giving us orders. Whereas at Arsenal, at least now, thank fuck for that, there's a clear hierarchy, and players have their heads in the right places, if I can say that, because people like Metro, they're very down to earth. They know the task at hand. They are not, in my opinion, getting ahead of themselves. So I think.
I think the point becomes this: when the thing is that when you people are very down to earth, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, right? So the point now becomes this, right? When you look at United,
they show on the pitch.
Man, the point is, when you look at the likes of Rashford and you go to Jadon Sancho,
you should see the guy sulking every single time like he's fucking prime Henrik Larsson.
Man. I think now you're just being biased, man. I think because the point now becomes
lads. There's hold on.
If you ask, yeah.
There's a war in the comment section.
What's going on?
Who had a better transfer window till now, Spurs or Gunners? Which actually brings me to this.
Should be Spurs.
Oh, yes.
And back to that, and then to that. Who do you think? Because we're going in circles with the whole.
I think it's really Spurs for sure, man.
Could be the fucking shit Spurs. Who's not going to win anything again.
That's the Arsenal bias coming through.
The last time they saw a cup was fairly, recent than us. They saw a fucking coffee mug in the morning. I could congratulate them for that. But yeah, that's about it.
But then the question is, who had a better transfer window till now? This season, Spurs.
Richarlison is a very good acquisition. I would have loved him. Like, people shit on Richarlison like he is some, League One player.
No, here's the thing, right? Yeah, he's actually amazing for the Everton team that he's playing in. And to see him join Spurs makes them a formidable force up front. Not that they need it. It makes them formidable up front. Yeah.
Like, I don't think he displaces Kane. Like,
probably not.
No. But he can play all across the front three. I think that's what he brings.
I mean, there's an aging English captain, and then you have Richarlison who's ready to switch up play. So I think that will be his role coming into the
team.
He's
a real character. Like I saw him, especially the last string of games that Everton had. He was really trying hard to pull them out of the rut. Like
Sorry, Sunaid. Sorry to interrupt. We have a very huge breaking news right now. Mohamed Salah has re-signed with Liverpool till 2025.
I mean,
he stays for 3 more years.
So Revenge Tour Part 3 hopefully should be on. I pray to
See you
God.
in Istanbul.
See you in Istanbul. The guy asked the guy to book a hotel. I was scared,
Yeah.
man. Like what you was mentioning in the chat, like there's rumors with Salah linking Real Madrid. Like
That was
I
never
was,
happening. That was never
I know, I
Exactly. That
know.
happening.
was never happening.
But,
It wasn't.
but still, I had this weird feeling. Oh my God! Like if I genuinely had to root for this guy, I would hate my life.
Oh, that's hard.
Mm,
Never say never, man. Never say never, to be honest. Never
fuck
say
that.
never. Nah, it's football, man. Like that's the thing. For example, with Kylian Mbappe right now, like a lot of people are very, like feeling aggressive and like aggrieved and heartbroken and what is and what is not. But that's the thing, man. It's football, man. Never say never, man. We just we're here. It's all a business, man. We want to win,
So
so anyone who's
you're
gonna help
basically
us.
predicting how the Mbappe saga is going to go, right?
Yeah, that's just it, man. That's just it. Like we have to win, man, and we need the best in the game. So that's just it. We're gonna bring the guy, and we're also gonna
But
cheer
here's the
for
thing,
him.
right?
So
I personally think that Haaland will end up at Real Madrid before Mbappe does, but that's just me.
That is true.
I see.
Following his
I see.
arc, following Haaland's arc, he's going to City.
I hope Mino Raiola was still around because he would have pushed him.
Son of a gun, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, my guy.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
brings me, I mean, talking about City, it just probably brings us to the next point, doesn't it, Farouk? About all the Brazilian roulette, and then we have to talk about this.
Okay, so now the thing is that now we also have Rafinha, Chelsea being linked to Rafinha. Although Chelsea have a bunch of wingers, I don't know why they're still being linked with, Rafinha, with Christian Pulisic and, I don't know.
America,
What's the name of the Moroccan guy? I've forgotten.
Moroccan guy? You mean the fucking
Moroccan
legend? Hakim Ziyech?
The Moroccan,
How
yeah,
dare
exactly.
you,
Exactly.
How
Hakim
dare
Ziyech,
you?
like so. And you see with all these guys, the Timo Werners, and I don't know what they want to do with these guys, how they want to fit them, because I just feel like Chelsea kill these attacking players these days, to be honest. Like they limit them so much, and we don't see anything from them, to be honest. But then I feel in the attacking midfield, Mason Mount is the only one. So I just want to pose this question to you guys before we move on here. So now the point is, we talked about, Gabriel Jesus, we talked about Richarlison, and now we talked about Rafinha as well. Mm-hmm. These are all Brazilian players and all Brazilian international. Mm-hmm. And we also have our own Brazilian international in Rodrigo here. There's a World Cup in November. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Like, how does this moves affect the chances for Rodrigo getting a spot in the World Cup? Because the point becomes this. Let me just complete my context. Richarlison moves to Spurs, and he shines in the Champions League, right? Gabriel Jesus becomes the man that Arsenal has been looking for since Thierry Henry. Then, then TJ has a very, and the point is that Rafinha is even much more. Richarlison right now is more in the team than Rodrigo is. We can say for Rafinha and Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus also is more in the team. I think Rafinha maybe.
I watch Brazilian games. Rafinha features quite.
Yeah, I know Rafinha features quite a lot as well, but I mean, like, Rafinha might be the guy who might have not as much, certainty as the other two I mentioned. So maybe, Rodrigo.
You don't rate him as high, right?
No, it's not about rating him highly. It's about the fact that, Gabriel Jesus has been with the setup for a long time. Richarlison has also been there before even Rafinha came on. So Rafinha came on actually when they were trying to find new players, and then he came and all of a sudden he impressed, I'm even sure like Rafinha was even much more famous on the international scene before he became famous with Leeds. Actually,
he was.
So that's the thing. So that's what I'm saying right now. Like, so maybe Rafinha might not. And again, if Rafinha goes to Chelsea, I think because of the style of play at Chelsea, he might not fit in all at once at the very start. So I mean, like, what happens then with Rodrigo? Like, given the fact that also our right side right now, it's maybe Valverde, Rodrigo. We also have a new midfielder in there as well. So is it going to be a 4-4-2? Is it going to be a 4-3-3? What happens to him?
You asking me? See, I don't rate Rafinha as highly. This is not biased, okay? He's good. He's good. Like, I wouldn't deny that. He has that element of unpredictability in his game. He can take on players, beat a man. He can either cut inside or go out wide by the byline and put in a decent ball in. He's good, but my worry would be more linked to Richarlison and Jesus. trumping Rodrigo for the spot. Rodrigo still has that. We have discussed this so many times. People write Rodrigo off like he is bang average. He can go games. He can go a whole array of games not scoring and looking rather on the periphery, and like basically being basically looking like he's missing out on the action. But he just needs one moment, like you saw against City, like you saw against Chelsea. There's a player in him. So I genuinely believe that no matter how much the odds are stacked against Rodrigo, this guy will find a way because this guy has something special.
I see.
I actually
So
agree
what
with
about-
that. Yeah, but here's the thing, right? In the Brazil team as it is, I don't think Rodrigo starts. I think with the team being established as it is, they would probably start Richarlison ahead of Rodrigo and then bring Rodrigo
Definitely.
Rodrigo in somewhere after halftime to do his
Yeah.
stuff. That is yeah.
That work for him, bro. Like you don't
Exactly.
need to
Yeah,
start.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. He's young enough to want to get in the team to do big stuff. And he's
Yeah.
already proven himself to be a player of that caliber. But I still don't think he starts ahead of the starters that they have because of how things move in the Brazil national team. But then I expect him to come on in the second half and do the magic that he does.
Yeah, so exactly. Actually, my question wasn't regarding starting. Like, even I am aware of the fact that Rodrigo doesn't start for Brazil, not yet. Hopefully, at the next World Cup he can. So, before we move on, we have Georgi here in the comment asking, guys, do you think we need another RW? Right, so right winger he means. Personally, I'm happy with Fede. He says. So, like, how does this? What do you guys think? I don't know. Snoid, would you mind answering? He's asking, do we need another right winger? Personally, he's happy with Fede Valverde there.
We have a couple of options, right, for right winger. We also have Peter, who can actually play on the left. Who predominantly plays on the left, but I think he can play on the right as well. From Castilla, it wouldn't hurt, in my opinion. It wouldn't hurt. Like people bank too much on Hazard. Like I think we can sign someone who is a little more lesser known. Or who is a better deal, maybe in the last year of their contract or something. Maybe then, but I wouldn't say that is a priority at the moment.
Yeah, I think we're good. Like with Rodrigo, and unfortunately, Asensio looking like the man is not leaving yet. I don't know, and also Fede playing there because the point is that we have more midfielders right now, so we can easily play 4-4-2. With 4 midfielders and what is not. Yeah, so I think.
Too much.
I'm sorry.
Too much hate on Asensio, bro.
Nah, man, it's a divorce, man. We need to get divorced and move on eventually. We both need to find new girlfriends, man. So everyone needs to get divorced and move on. Otherwise, we're cheating on each other, man. So we shouldn't do that.
Fair.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
wait. One question before we move on. So if we are looking to get a profile of a player who can play multiple positions and can play on the right wing, who would it be? Like, I can't come up with genuine names apart from
Bernardo Silva, man. So obvious.
What is the obvious choice?
Bernardo Silva, man.
But do you think we can pry him away from City? I'm talking realistically.
Yeah. Realistically.
Yeah.
Realistically? Wow. No player comes to the top of my head right now, to be honest.
That's the same thing.
No, if I remember,
he
Gnabry plays on the left, doesn't he? Or am I?
plays on the right. He plays on the right, but he decides to stay
on the
at.
right.
He decided to stay at Bayern.
Bayern, yeah.
There were some links with him and us, but I don't think that was happening even before. Good right. So wait. This is another question, right? Do you guys prefer a right winger who cuts in on his left, or a right winger who's right-footed like Rodrigo, who can whip a ball in? What do you guys prefer, personally?
Well, I think it depends on the quality of the player itself. For example, if you're giving me Iron Ruben, for sure, give me a left feet always. But then I don't know. I think a right winger with a left foot makes more sense because I'm just looking at it right now. Like even with Gareth Bale, like that was one of his biggest weapons as well.
True.
So I feel But then sometimes it now becomes this like they become so predictable that if you can defend that because whenever they get the ball they have to switch to the left leg, and that switch gives you the chance to know what's going to happen, and you can maybe defend. But then also on the other hand, you couldn't stop Guardiola, you couldn't stop Bayern Robben, you couldn't stop Di Maria, and so that's just the thing as well.
True, but then I think we're sleeping on the fact that a player can Rodrigo can then switch up the game. Given that our attackers, given that our players are better aerially than most in Europe, I would take at this point in time. I'd take a right winger with a amazing right foot with a cross
Right
that
foot.
that just slice through the defense and do what it does. So yeah, that's my pick.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right then. All right. Okay, then still while we're still on Chelsea, yeah, and we're past the Russian roulette and their wingers. So we have the issue of the big Grom.
Issue of the big Rob.
Yeah,
Big Rom.
yeah.
Man.
We have the
There's-
issue of the big Grom. So the thing now becomes this, right? We had Lukaku leave Inter to join Chelsea for almost 100 million pounds, right? And 12 months later, here is Lukaku and Steven Zhang again in Italy, posing with an Italian jersey. Okay, before I go to you, Sunait, let me just start with Edu because I think you have some very strong opinions. So we'll listen to that a bit afterwards.
Yeah, it sucks for everybody involved. Sucks for Lukaku because it was supposed to be his big splash back in the Premier League. He didn't. Yeah, there was an interview back in December, and then everything went downhill from there. Yeah, it's just been downhill from there. Going back to Inter, does it make sense? Yeah, it does because his relations at Chelsea are pretty bad as they are right now. Um, is it his fault? Probably. He just couldn't hack it in the Premier League with the Chelsea team. He should have been able to do so much more. He was brought in for the premise of scoring goals whenever Chelsea wanted them to, and it just didn't happen the way that they wanted it to, right? So then going back to Inter, it seems in the English media it says it seems cowardly, and I think that's a pretty strong word to bully a player. So then I'm saying it's apparently what he wants. So then just give him that. Yeah, let him be.
Okay, Sunait, why do you think this transfer didn't work out?
Really? Don't ask me that. Even actually ask me that, but yeah, this transfer didn't seem to work out because remember what I told you before we started the live when we were discussing stuff, right? I told you this was doomed from day one because you're a big mouth who was genuinely bagged. Like you told me he had like a season where he scored like 28 goals or something for United, all comps, right? Before he left for Inter or something. But here is a guy who has always thrown a fit or always tried to, create some sort of drama. Remember him leaking out training information about United after he left or something, like the sprint speed or something.
Oh,
The guy leaked out. You remember, right?
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, there was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
big news. Yeah.
And he does silly stuff like that. He even dodged training and went and trained with Anderlecht, if I remember, right? You guys remember that when he was at United during his last year or something? Farouk, you don't recall that?
Nah, I can't really exactly remember that, to be honest.
Yeah, he trained alone at Anderlecht. Okay, so he does stuff that boggles my mind. Like a player who is given so much responsibility and is paid such huge figures should show some basic level of decency. So he's coming into a Chelsea team that is just won the Champions League the previous year, right? So the dressing room are people just like us, young guys, just like us, and they are proven winners, right? They did it the hard way without a proven striker, with Timo Werner, who at least gives his all, plays with his heart every time he steps on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean
So
that's pretty much why the fans prefer Werner over
Yeah,
Lukaku.
it's not for the quality. Warner doesn't score a lot of goals. He misses so many
Sitters, yeah.
high profile chances. But yeah, the moment Lukaku tries to walk into the dressing room, these guys will start chatting. He speaks so much, but he's anything that he tries to brag about. So that was the way it started to soar from day one. But then imagine the reports that is coming out in the past couple of days that he was already in touch with Inzaghi from December.
Yeah, that's.
No, that is not even a quarter of the season. It's mad. Like how can you even do that? Like when you kiss your badge, I don't know how many fucking badges he has kissed. Right? Like people can do that, but for some fucking dignity, man. Like that's the least you can do that. But he's been talking to Inzaghi since December. So I think the whole circus of the Sky Sports Italia interview was him planting a seed, right?
I mean, yeah, I disagree with that because it's the English media likes to go in on players that they don't really like, and then it might be what happened with Big Rom because there was one interview that went wrong, and then everything started like dominoes. He was an easy target when at a time when there was not much news to go in on. So then everything that he did got
But
flogged
he is
in
the one
public.
who invites that kind of attention, right? He's the one who lays his coffin and sleeps in it, right? Like it's not someone pushing him in.
I mean, I think at some point it became very obvious that that neither the media nor his teammates were really convinced that he wanted to stay in Chelsea, and then I think that cemented the idea that he wanted to go back to a place where he's proven that he's a big deal before he came in.
I think, bro. See, this is one of my conspiracy theories, okay? And this is OG content,
All right.
exclusive, exclusive to our podcast, right? So Inter was in very uh, grave financial difficulties, right? If you guys have known that, they
Yeah.
have a huge amount of debt and whatnot. So I think this was a very carefully planned 100 million signing just so that they can stay above the red line, right? And Romelu Lukaku was basically instructed by the Chinese owners, somewhere in December, start acting up from day one, but somewhere in December, plant a seed, just chill on. We'll give you a fucking cruise ship out of the middle of the ocean, and you can chill there. We'll get you guys, invite Sky Sports Italia, hold an interview, talk shit. Boom. That's it.
But then
A
I
90
don't.
million 1 year loan.
Okay, let me just come in here, guys. So the thing now becomes this, right? So I do believe that the big Rom actually messed up at Chelsea. I do believe that. But one thing I'm saying is this, right? So the point is that Lukaku stayed in Italy for 2 seasons. After the shit he had at United, he was treated as a king. The man had a tifo, man. The ultras were coming with a flag or with Lukaku's face with a crown on it. Okay? So the thing now becomes this, right? Are you expecting Lukaku to hold an interview with Sky Italia and be like, oh, yeah, we stayed in Inter for 2 years. It wasn't bad. It's okay. Definitely he's going to, man, did you see, during COVID, because I think they won the league due to Milan losing or drawing a game. They weren't playing the game that day. The man went in his car with the roof open and he was going around the city, man. That's how much, he felt comfortable with these people. He felt very close to them.
Yeah.
So the point is that I felt like, Thomas Tuchel fucked up with his reaction to the team. So because he reacted that way, and rightly to Yadu's point, there was no news then. And the English media were like, oh yeah, this guy, isn't it the guy who fucked up at United? Yeah, exactly. This is the guy. They just, kept on pushing. And now to my second point, which is the point I hold all day long. The point is this, right? So, right, Yadu, if you guys have £100 million right now and you want to buy something, you're going to extensively scout this team, extensively know in and out of men. We buy phones for $300, $400, man, and we check everything on the internet. How is this phone? When was it made? What's the RAM? What's the shelf life? We even go to websites to see what's the people's comment about this phone. People who bought it, how do they repair the phone? What about the after
But
purchase? Is there a service provided? Is this?
you should focus. You should focus, right? So we research a phone, we look up reviews, right, and we place an order. The phone doesn't say us, you know what, you're my boyhood guy.
No, but the
You know,
thing
like,
now
I
becomes
want
this,
this
right?
phone
So the thing now
for
becomes
you.
this.
It's
No,
my
no, no.
exception.
The thing
Yeah.
now
I don't
becomes
think
this.
that's
When
his
I buy,
point. Yeah. Go
when
on,
I buy
Flourish.
when I buy an Apple phone and like I see that the Apple phone only works with Apple Store and you can put external apps like an Android where I can develop my own personal app and just throw it in there, or like you can put this, you can put that. The Apple is just limited to Apple things. You even find it difficult to send things unless you use the AirDrop to another Apple phone. You can't use the Bluetooth. My point is this. My point is this.
Yeah.
You have scouted Lukaku extensively. I am not a scout. You guys are not a scout, and we know this. As Sunil rightly pointed out, this guy throws a feet everywhere. These guys is friend with Pogba for a reason, man. They're all bling bling and flashy people. They go with news everywhere they go. This is something we know. Since his days at Everton, I know this. Since he was at Everton, I know this. And the point is, if I'm someone who pays, I literally pay to watch football. They don't pay me to watch football. How does a scout, how does a renowned coach, such as Thomas Tuchel, not know that, okay, this is the kind of character Lukaku is, and if we don't cater to his character, he's going to fuck up. And which is what happened at United. He went to United and they were like, nah, we're going to put, Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford as our focal point. And he was like, okay, if that's your thing, yeah, fuck off. And that's it. That's just what happened. He went to Chelsea. You bought this guy for 100 million, and you're like, nah, we can't build a team around you. Just you have to mesh to Thomas Tuchel's system, or you can fuck off. This is the point. The only reason he has flourished at Everton, West Brom, Belgium, Inter Milan is because the coach brings him around and like, okay, man, you're my guy. You can do this. Man, Antonio Conte was having 1v1 training with Lukaku, man. 1v1 training, man. What are you talking about? I mean, I repeat myself, Lukaku is at fault, 50%. But the remaining 50% goes to Chelsea that they didn't scout who this person is. What's his personality like? How can we integrate him into our team? We won the Champions League. We want to go to the next level. Do we want to change our system or do we want to evolve? If we're going to evolve, we're going to buy someone who is going to fit our system, not someone who the system has to be built around. And there's also this misconception that goes around that Lukaku is a target man where you cross the ball and he scores. No. Anyone who says this hasn't watched Lukaku. Go and see his best games for Inter. Man, I think even Sunil can point out, there was a game where I think they destroyed Milan 3-0. The man got the ball from the halfway line and dragged it till he scored against fucking Donnarumma, man.
True.
So that's the thing. Like, the guy is not someone who you just throw the ball in and he just heads it in. No. I mean, I know this. This is my point. Like, if I know this, man, these guys are being paid hundreds of thousands of pounds every week to know this. How don't they know this?
Let me tell you something, right?
Yeah,
That's a very fair point that you're making, that Chelsea should have done their homework. Yeah. People knew about his paparazzi infatuation. Yeah, all that is true. But when you're coming into a club that you have been previously associated with, right, and he chats shit, yeah, but bro, like people buy into this, right? Like fans especially, when they say, boyhood club, unfinished business. These are all the very essence of romanticism in this deal is the one that provoked the manager, the fans, the club, everything. So when you're going to bow down to a person, right? Like, yeah, this guy has a persona that we should cater to, like we should make him feel at home, which Inter did. Inter tried to put an arm around his shoulder, blah, 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 blah. But when you're coming to Chelsea, who is reigning Champions League winners, right? They'll do it for someone like Cristiano. They might do it for fucking King Drogba. But who is Lukaku, man? Like, tell me who is Lukaku? 2 good seasons in his career. He's 30 years old, right? He's 29 or 30?
Nah, man, it's not 2 good seasons, man. The man was a motherfucker at Everton.
You don't watch more football than me, Farooq. You're saying Lukaku is more than he has performed for more than 2 years. You're telling me that.
Definitely, man. Haven't you seen this guy playing on the Martinez, man?
But he's nothing special. He's not generational.
Man, for me personally, I
mean, he is generational. He's a talent. I mean, look at the Belgian team. And Just look at his performances in the Belgian
Bro,
team,
I
and
can be
That's
Belgian.
just it, man. That's
It didn't have to be top
that's the
scorer.
thing, man. To be honest, the thing becomes this, right? Like people shit Lukaku for 3 seasons. 2 at United, 1 at Chelsea. To be honest, take away that 3 seasons and Lukaku has been good. The point now becomes this, which is what I'm saying. Like, if Lukaku has a problem about playing in the teams, which I don't know, the thing about being the big fish in a small pond, small fish in a big pond, this kind of things, that's the thing. That now becomes this. It's either you go the Antonio Conte way or you leave the man alone. That's just it. That's just it.
He wants to be the big fish in a small pond. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what makes sense to me, at least. He can't survive in an environment where the club is kind of bigger than him. Inter Milan is bigger than him. I'll tell you that. Okay, but as of now, they're in a much worse situation as a club than Chelsea. So that's my.
I mean, so the thing becomes this, for me personally, it's like this. I'm not saying, he needs to be in a club that he's bigger than or anything like that. No, that's not the case. I'm just saying that he needs to go into a team. That's the thing. I'm saying this again. 50% of the blame is to the big room. 50% is to Chelsea. What I'm saying to you here is this: Lukaku needs to be in a system whereby he has arms around him. That's the only way he works. He's so one-dimensional. But the point is this: if you can cater to his one-dimensionality, the man is a fucking monster, man. He was operating at elite level. Okay, not Ballon d'Or level, but the level just below that. Anyone who's watched Inter knows this. The man was fucking operating at elite level, man. And so that's the thing.
Let me tell you, you got to actually respect the amount of shift that Martinez put in as well. Please respect it.
I'm not denying that. That's what I'm saying to you now. He working together with Martinez that's the perfect pairing, man. He worked together with Martinez and he made them really good. That's the thing. But the point is that he's the X factor of that team. He was the X factor of that team.
Yeah, that's actually the thing. I mean, Chelsea wanted just somebody who would convert the goals. They didn't want a player who would just drop in deep and do whatever. They just wanted a target man, and that might just be why he wasn't the best fit to the system. Plus a lot of interpersonal issues. There's the word again, interpersonal. But yeah, I think at the end that would be the reasonable conclusion, that both sides had their wrongs. Chelsea had unrealistic expectations of a player. I mean, they had expectations of some other player. Lukaku wasn't the player that they wanted, that they needed, and Chelsea just the whole ordeal, the whole coming back, the whole let's finish the things, just never really panned out, never really worked out.
He's actually holding up a shirt that says 90, which is the sum paid by Chelsea. Again, another mistake on top of another mistake. So,
The number
this
9
guy
curse.
is a problem. This guy is a problem. Let me tell you that Lukaku is a problem. He
Okay. Anyways, yeah. Let's
when he
move on,
retires,
like-
let me tell you that when he retires, nobody will be mentioning him in the same breath as your Ibrahimovic, your Suarez, your Benzema, your Henrys, your Cantonas. Nobody will fucking mention him.
I'll give you another list, and you just tell me where.
Yeah, I'll tell you the list. Peter Crouch.
No.
Lukaku.
No.
Peter Crouch, Lukaku, Arnautovic.
No. I'm going to give you an interesting list. Yeah. You can have your Steve Sitwell, Khalid Bularos. Oh yeah. Fernando Torres, Radamel Falcao, Gonzalo Higuain,
Torres.
Mateo Kesman, Alvaro Morata, and Romelu Lukaku.
Did you just say Fernando Torres, who won a couple of Euros and a World Cup? And in one of the Euros, he was top scorer.
Man, he's talking about the dead Chelsea strikers, man.
I'll give you the context.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you the context again. There's Lukaku, there's Morata before him, there's Kesman, Higuain, Falcao, Torres, Bularos, and Steve Sitwell. Now here's the interesting thing: the curse of Chelsea's number 9.
Exactly.
Is it real, Sunaid? What do you think?
See, when you put the context into Chelsea number 9s, yes, man. Lukaku is number 5.
Lukaku was doomed for failure from the beginning. Is that what you're saying?
That is also true. The curse is actually real. I can't I believe in the jinx, so I can't turn around and say that the curse is not real anymore. But yeah, the other names on that list, bro, they have had their fair share of very brilliant moments apart from this curse. So yeah, don't mention him in the same breath as Falcao, Fernando
Even
Torres,
Morata.
Higuain. Oh my God!
I mean,
Sorry.
Higuain in his prime is a different beast. But even Morata, which also brings me to the topic of the discussion, Farouk. What's Morata up to?
Yeah, exactly. So the thing now becomes it's like Juve have opted against keeping Alvaro Morata beyond the duration of his loan, which expired yesterday. So right now, Morata is officially back to Madrid in Atletico Madrid. So like right now, like Morata is a journeyman, right? You guys will agree, and a journeyman who has a very good agent. For whatever reason, he keeps getting the big clubs. I don't really don't know why. Like he flops at Chelsea and Atleti pays almost 50 million for him to come back. He flops at Atleti, you like bring him back. I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Where is he? What's up next for him? Where does he go next? Yeah, so like,
He's the perfect money laundry machine for the big clubs. Yeah. There's nobody better at this job than Morata is. But I'm sorry, yeah, back to Sunil. I just wanted to get that in there, just pot shots at Morata. But yeah, please, Sunit, go on.
Morata, I have nothing much to say on the guy. I used to love him. Like I'll put my hands up and say that I used to love him. I used to love his mentality, his whole story used to be very appealing to me. But yeah, as of late, this guy has turned into a fucking poisonous snake. So yeah, like my thoughts on him has completely changed. In my opinion, he will still back goals. There is a goal scorer in him. He needs too many chances though. Yeah, that's the only thing. But let me tell you again, we'll see him sign for someone you might think, oh, how did he fucking join that team? He'll do that again. He has that in him.
yeah, that's very valid. That's very valid. Anyways, let's not waste too much time on the curse of the number and keep. But while still relating to Chelsea, the discussion about Matthias de Ligt. So Chelsea has been linked to Matthias de Ligt. Apparently, he has a release clause of around 120 million euros, if I'm not mistaken. So he's 22 years old, right? So I don't know how would you guys. Okay, let's just start with you. Like how would you rate his time at Juventus though? Like so far.
Not as big as he wanted to, but he would have picked up a lot of skills from the Juventus defense that was there. They haven't really won anything big. He was part of the downfall of Juventus. 120 million pound price tag,
Euros.
euros price tag,
Yeah.
sorry, euros. So 100 million pounds then probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that price tag is it justified? Probably not. But then Chelsea need it. Chelsea need to rejuvenate their defense, and somebody from Juventus is probably the guy. And uh, I mean, I can tie it back to his Ajax days that was discussed like earlier, much earlier in the pod. But then 100 million right now, is it a justified price tag? I mean, Neymar's transfer just blowed all the price tags out of proportion way back. Um, is he somebody Chelsea needs? Yes. Is the price tag correct? No. His time at Juventus, not a big success as anybody wanted it to be. He was expected to be part of a Champions League winning Juventus team. Never happened, never got close. So his time at Juventus, yeah, for me personally, probably like 5 out of 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
five.
see.
Five
So
would be hard. It should be six, but nothing of a huge difference.
Right,
Five.
I'll compromise 5.5.
okay, Smith, let me put this to you. So the thing now becomes this like the lead at 22 is being linked to Chelsea, but then we have other players who are being linked to Chelsea as well. For example, we have Kalidou Koulibaly. He's at age 31. He's been linked to Chelsea. And I'll also add one more name who actually I haven't seen being linked to Chelsea, rather he's been linked to Paris, Milan Skriniar at the age of 27. I don't know who would you say is a right fit for Chelsea at this point in time. Although I think because Chelsea has lost a lot of defenders, maybe they need just more than one defender. But I don't know who do you think would be the best fit for Chelsea among these three names: the Ligt, Kalidou Koulibaly, and Milan Skriniar.
If it's down to profile, if it's down to purely profile, I would say it would be Skriniar because the man is is so well versed in a back three that I think the guy can do bits for Chelsea. And Milan Skriniar is one of the best young centre backs in the world. He's not particularly young, but yeah, like for a centre back, he's probably in his prime at this moment. So he can do bits. But if you're looking for brute strength, it should be Koulibaly. But for future, it should be Delight. But man, I'm not convinced by Delight, man. Like, I don't know if it's everything collapsing at Juventus at the wrong time, everybody getting old, a huge transitional period and whatnot. I can't really say, but Delight would be a gamble for any club, any top European club. You never know what you're going to get from him. Like, he's not particularly quick. He's not particularly agile for a centre back either. He's good in the air. I'll give him that. His reading of the game is okay, but
he's also a good captain, and
he's a good leader.
I mean, he's a good addition to a backup line that exists. So if he has the support of the other players in the back line, let's say back three, back four,
he would excel at United. I feel like, like if they get him, he would be really good. I wouldn't want that to happen. But.
I personally I feel like if Delict stays put at Juventus, he's going to get a lot of experience because the experience you gain is you gain them when you're down, when the team is down, when the rebuild is going on. And as you guys just rightly pointed out, like he's a captain as well. Like he can obviously he's not a captain of Juventus, but I mean like he was a captain of Ajax, which means like he has that leadership skills.
19,
so exactly. So I mean, like right now, like if he can just hold his head down, work hard through this, and if he and his agent see that there is a organizational rebuild going on there, if they feel that this is something right, I mean, staying through the rebuild will make him, come out of it stronger and even be a better player. And that's the point is he's so young, he might be 25, 26, and he might eventually be the new captain of Juventus, of the new look Juventus, who might actually eventually finally win the Champions League. Well, that's just what I think personally. Yeah. Anyways, while staying with Chelsea, let's discuss Raheem Sterling. So that's another of the players that is being linked to Chelsea right now. And as we just pointed out earlier about the fact that they have shit ton of wingers, but they're still being linked to wingers. But then I think the thing now becomes this: we talked about Gabriel Jesus before him, and now Raheem Sterling. Like I think these deals are being affected by the arrivals of Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez from South America. So I don't know what do you guys think? Like for me personally, I feel like Sterling has actually it's come to a natural end. Like he was very good 2 years ago, but for the past 2 years he's no longer the go-to guy for Pep. I don't know what you guys think. Let's start with you, Yadu. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean he's fallen off massively. As in. Even in the national team, he's not pulling out the performances that he is supposed to, or the ones that have been expected from him, especially in the big games. And I think the time, as you said, the time for him to be away from City is finally here. I would have expected a move out of the league, but across the pond to Chelsea. I'm not quite sure if Chelsea is replacing players that they have with somebody of the same quality, if that makes sense. So the players that they have going out, the players that Sterling is supposed to replace, is it really a right fit for them to do that? I'm not quite sure.
I think so. Let me just put the context here. I also Raheem Sterling is a London boy actually. So he has family in London, so it's a familiar connection for him to move back to London. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, he was from QPR and then he moved to Liverpool and then he moved to City eventually. So the thing now becomes is while you talked about this, I think it just goes back to when you talk about the right fit. I think it just goes back to what we discussed earlier about Lukaku and the fact that Chelsea won the game with Timo Werner, and Timo Werner is a buzzing forward. Like he doesn't stay fit, he just runs all around. I think maybe this is what Chelsea are trying to do. Like they just realized that okay, we tried it with one of the best nines out there, even if Sunit might disagree with that. But right now, maybe we just have to try it, with just busy forwards, Ray Sterling, Werner, Havertz, Mount, these guys just interchanging positions and, it's just a free roaming forward, literally, I would say. I don't know. What do you think, Sunit? What do you think? How can you react to Yadu's comment about right fit or not?
See, Sterling is someone who gives off the vibe that he can play false nine, but he can't. Like his finishing is too erratic to be anywhere near the goal, and his goal contributions paint a much more inflated picture of his influence in games. I'm talking about the last 2 seasons, yeah. Like before that, yeah, like he was really on his game, but the last couple of years, his performances hasn't been as convincing, and that's why he has been always in and out of Pep's side. But for Chelsea, if you're looking for the guy to play down the middle, no, I don't think he'll cut it. But he'll be better than Ziyech for sure. Like he can do a job over there, and yeah, like he still has so much potential, man. Like if you give him high quality chances, he's bound to put a few away. He can score goals, like. But I don't think he's gonna like solve Chelsea's goal scoring issues. I think they'll still have to depend on Jorginho and the likes.
No, I think there's more to be talked about Havertz's development into whatever the
Yeah.
team needs him to, because he came in from the Bundesliga, and he's been evolving, he's been putting in shifts, he's been absorbing pressure, and it could be that Sterling coming in takes some of the load off of him, but it could also lead to a stop or a pause in the development that Kai
Yeah.
Havertz is going through. So
That's a very good point.
No, I think that's a very fair point. Anyways, let's move on. Let's go to when we spoke of divas, let's go to there's no bigger diva right now in the world than the Brazilian Neymar himself. So this is the man for the I mean, I don't know, man, for the bling bling and what is not. He's a symbol of, the bling bling Paris Saint-Germain. So right now we're hearing rumors that Paris are open to offers for the Brazilian winger. Although he's reluctant to leave Paris. I don't know. What do you guys think? What's next for Neymar? This is the guy who broke the transfer record. This is the guy who wants to get out of the shadow of Lionel Messi at Barcelona. This is the guy who is right now currently playing second fiddle to not just only Lionel Messi, but also Kylian Mbappe. This is the guy who has seen the keys of the kingdom snatched from his hand and given to Kylian Mbappe. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Can you think there's still something for Neymar out there? Yeah, Sunaid, can you please go on?
Wait, before that, just gonna say some stuff.
The bling bling.
Little controversial,
Sunil came prepared.
The bling bling.
Yeah.
All right.
That guy has been on the front of major, footballing newspapers for God knows how long. Because whenever he has a bad game or has a good game, he's always the talk of the town. And in my opinion, okay, this is why I put on my glasses, yeah. Real Madrid should actually look at him. If there's a genuine possibility, we should look at him. Because prove me the chat, or you guys can prove me wrong. I'm not 100% sure about this, but from my memory, he has childhood affiliation with Real Madrid. He has had a trial with us. Mm-hmm. He has said that we are kind of his childhood club and whatnot. So yeah, his personality is often always something left to be desired. His professionalism was the same, but in my opinion, our club has this innate ability to turn pricks like these into real winners. And I think both for us and for him, it'll be a very good marriage. I think we can turn him into something of a deadly weapon. Even though he's in his 30s at the moment, I think we can, if we polish him right, especially this dressing room, I think can really influence Neymar and his perspective of what he wants to achieve before he retires. So there is unfinished business for Neymar. If he goes to Chelsea, it's going to be a repeat. Unfortunately, it's going to be a repeat of what happened at PSG, although not to the same extent. He has had issues with Tuchel before. So it's more kind of another diva replacement for Lukaku, in my opinion, at the bridge. But if he makes a serious move, like a serious move, like when you move to Real Madrid, you mean business, right? Like you want to win shit, not party with your girlfriend in Ibiza. So I think we should move in for him. That's my 2 cents.
You think Real Madrid Neymar relationship?
I don't think it's happening. I just
It
don't.
won't happen.
I
It
don't
won't
think
happen.
it's happening. Like,
I know it won't
yeah,
happen. But
even in my dreams, it's not happening because first off, even my dreams know the reality that we don't have the money to pay his wages.
Exactly.
And the second thing, I mean, he was at Barca. I mean, yeah, he's not coming. Realistically, I expect him to stay at PSG. Whatever shit they might throw now, I expect them to backtrack and convince Neymar into staying. Because a couple of years ago, top three player in the world, today debatable, a career sidelined by injuries and then a lot of unwanted press, but
since
still,
Yeah,
as bad, eh?
still world class, yeah, still banging player, amazing stuff, crazy talent.
definitely.
The last World Cup saw him, oh no, the one before that saw him actually be the talisman of the whole Brazil national team, which, as young as he is, that is absolutely amazing. Mesmerizing player and a mesmerizing presence to have in the team. So yeah, but then
I mean, why shouldn't we
talking.
compromise a bit of? I know it's financially it's next to impossible and whatnot, but I'm sure a club like us can convince this man. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we have the personnel to convince him to maybe reduce the salary a bit, or like I don't know, man. I'm just being wishful. Imagine Neymar in the squad. We have so much Brazilian talent, along with so many very well versed, seasoned veterans. I think they can tame him. Like if you really think it,
I
people
mean,
like
that's
Benzema.
also another question, right? Can we sign another Brazilian legally? I don't think so.
No. The
Visa and
EU
all
thing
that.
is
Yeah,
a problem.
exactly.
The EU thing is a problem. But
But
I've heard
I,
that Vinicius and Rodrigo is going to be
I mean,
getting that.
I think that Neymar would have a European citizenship by now. No, I
Oh
don't know.
yeah,
Oh, you
that's
probably, yeah. I mean,
He
Barca, and
probably should
then
have a
yeah,
EU. Exactly.
he should, yeah.
He probably should have a EU passport by now, I guess.
I mean, picks
But then,
heads, picks heads would fly, and I would like to see him at Real Madrid
I mean, where?
just for the
How do you
sake of
play
it.
him though? Like, how do you fit that in? How do you fit them all into a team, man?
Yeah, Vinny stepping in and out for me.
No,
yeah,
I think the point now is that like Neymar is no longer a winger, in my opinion. Like, he's no
yeah,
longer the
yeah.
flying
He
winger.
plays more on the level.
I think he's no longer a
Nice
winger. I think
change in system for someone who is as good as Neymar. Like it doesn't hurt to try. I know it's gonna have huge repercussions on our budget, our structure, and whatnot. But if you have a chance, you take it with Neymar because
Because
he's a
it's
gem.
Neymar, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair,
valid,
fair,
valid, valid, valid,
fair
valid.
point.
Okay, guys, before we conclude, I have a question to ask you guys. There's a World Cup in November, right? And the transfer window is open. How much can a national team coach dictate where the players go to? For example, context, we have Louis van Gaal and we have Justin Timber at Ajax. So Louis van Gaal was
Yeah.
saying that although Timber is a very good player and he can survive in the Premier League, especially at Manchester United, he thinks that the time is not now to move. He should delay the transfer till the end of the season. So I don't know how much sway do you guys think the national team coaches have in the transfer of their players? Yeah, you do. Can you please just?
A lot, because it matters to coaches that their players are at their optimal match fitness, first off, that they're regular starters, that they can do the things that they're expected to do. Even in the case of Bale going to MLS, it makes sense because he wants to be ready for the World Cup. Messi staying at PSG, playing the minutes that he's playing, also makes sense because of the World Cup. A national team coach definitely has a lot of say in where the player will go to, because ultimately what the coach is concerned with is how much their player is playing and where they're playing, how they're playing. Should that be the case? I'm split here because I think yes. I think yeah, because They should, because I mean, just because they represent their country, and country bigger than club as far as I'm concerned. So I think that it should make sense for the overall career of the player. If the player wants to be a legend in his home country, then yes, he should listen to his the coach of his country. Yeah.
Same.
I see. Interesting.
I share the same sentiment. People like Louis Van Gaal always, especially after his time at United, told everybody about the state of affairs at United. This is why I was telling you guys about De Jong earlier, because no matter who is in charge, man, you guys know as a fact. No matter who is in charge, there are people, American owners, who tell people to do shit. So they don't have any kind of power that they seem to have. Ten Hag might be sacked next season. You never know. You never know. So
Definitely.
yeah, like managers should have a say where their players are going. Like it's because, in my opinion, clubs have a see. This is hard, right? Like in this era we live in, World Cups are slightly diminished in value, at least in public perception. It wasn't like it used to be, at least when I was growing up. Um, so therefore, in my opinion, national team managers have this emotion. Like most national team managers are of the same nationality, apart from a few odd ones, right? So they'll have this affection for the player, that they have this feeling that they want them to succeed more than any other agenda of like we want him to perform so well so that we can have him in top fitness for the World Cup. That is a part, but they also have this genuine feeling of they want their fellow countrymen to excel, in their career.
I see. Anyways, valid points, boys. Anyways, speaking of the World Cup, so let's just finalize with this. So we were hearing today, I watched earlier, like Colina was talking about the fact that they are trying to automate the offside rule, the VAR thing. So they're going to introduce the semi-automated VAR to call offsides in the 22 World Cup in Qatar in November. So what happens is that the most important thing here is that they said that on average for the past season, it took 70 seconds for the VAR to check for offside. Right now, the new automated system will take just 25 seconds. And this system has been trialed apparently at the Arab Cup and the Club World Cup, which was concluded in Qatar. And the thing here is this: they have a sensor in the ball, and they have 12 cameras in the pitch, which will monitor the players and will send, I think, 50 data every second to the computer, which will eventually create a 3D image, as you can see here. So something like this. I don't know, what is your take on this? Like, do you guys think the football is becoming so automated? Like, is this offside rule something good? And also keep in mind the 25-second thing, from 70 seconds to 25 seconds. Yeah, Sunil, can you just give an insight?
I'm not sure, man. I'm a guy who's strangely averse to change. So this might, like, I have to see how this is practical in action, like in a very high profile game where people are on the very edge, like like almost with their knives drawn to stab someone. So in that kind of pressure, how practical this might seem, I don't know. I'm not sure, but yeah, the very obvious offsides which our linesmen won't give will be solved by this, right? Like, don't you think? I think that's the only takeaway I can have at this moment, personally.
Yadu, what do you think?
I actually really like it. Even though we had technical problems setting up our live, I'm a fan of it in principle. The moment it starts going wrong, I'm going to criticize the hell out of it. But the idea is valid, and I'm not more concerned about the timing thing. I'm more concerned about eliminating the error from the whole thing. So even with VAR,
It's subjective.
It's subjective, exactly. It relies on how the what am I saying?
The VR officials perceive it.
Exactly. How the officials perceive it, and then that is subject to a lot of internal
So that's the thing now.
things.
That's the thing now. So based on the thing I read, like now it removes the human error, right? So what happens is that you have the cameras, you have the sensor in the ball. So now you're wondering, when did the ball leave the feet of the player who played the ball? Then you start to check for offside, right? So now the cameras, as I said, there are 12 cameras in the stadium. So those 12 cameras are always transmitting data, always. So they're transmitting data, and automatically the software tells if it's offside or not offside. So now human error has been eliminated.
Yeah.
So like there's no like margin of drawing lines or this and that. These are all gone. Okay. So now it's just gonna check, okay, what's the location of this very player and what's the location of the previous player, right? Because they're checking all the limbs actually. So these cameras are checking all the human limbs. Okay. So now we know where our offside starts and where the offside ends. It's not about, okay, the arm of the sleeve. Where does your sleeve start? Where does your sleeve end? Okay. So now we're eliminating all these things. So that's the thing. Now it's no longer, being left to subjective of how you interpret the rule of what is or what is not. It's just, if it's offside, it tells the VAR it's offside. The VAR directly transfers it to the referee. It's offside. And as you can see, this image here is something similar that's going to be shown in the stadiums actually. So this image will be shown in the stadium and on TV for you to see that, okay, this is why this guy is offside. This is how he was offside.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking about, because right now, even with VAR, the referee is being shown the visual, and then he takes a moment to look and to confer with his team. Meanwhile, the people sitting at home can watch the replays in slow motion, in super slow motion, in super slow motion, sponsored by La Liga, and so on and so on. So the people sitting at home have more idea about what is exactly it, without the pressure of the game which the referee is subject to. So take away the pressure from the referee, make it automated, give it into
Exactly.
code. I love the idea. Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
don't
So
you
yeah.
think even in automation there won't be errors?
Oh, there will be. But the moment there are errors, it won't be the person who is suffering. It will be the code that has to be improved upon. And with multiple
Exactly.
iterations, let's say you get 50 things wrong. By the next World Cup, or by the next league, next year, you get a better automated system. But with
So that's the thing, like,
that can't be the case. With human errors, it's just there, propagating throughout the entirety of time, which is different.
so this system actually has been developed in the past 3 years. Okay, so like it's not something that's just happening overnight. So like they've worked on it extensively. So hopefully they're planning to roll it out in November officially. So after that, in FIFA tournaments, you will expect this. Well, actually, for me, what I was always just wondering now becomes this eventually. Like this eventually becomes the situation of you guys can recall in the Champions League final whereby this guy hits the ball. For example, what's it called? Fabinho hits the ball and it came to Benzema, and like it's like unintentional back pass, offside, what is and what is not. I mean, it still leaves those technicalities out there. I mean, right? I don't know, because how would you say that a player is intentionally giving a pass to his opposition? I think that will never happen, I guess. Always like, I don't know how they want this to happen. But I would say, generally, it's just one step at a time we're getting there, because I feel it's just it's only in football, when you consider all the high profile games, baseball, tennis, basketball, everyone is seeing everything, and you have the chance to ask why this happened during the game, and they have to explain to you, and you also have the chance to challenge these calls. True. For me, actually, what I was looking forward to mostly is, giving the coaches or the captains a challenge or a couple of challenges to challenge the decisions of the referee. I think that would be a long way going forward. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, it just complicates things. As far as I can think of, it just complicates things, because you would always have people asking for reviews just to waste time. It will always be integrated into the last few minutes of the game. You just make a rash challenge and you ask for reviews essentially, and just waste time with it. So I don't think that should be the case. I'm all in for the VAR, but less in for reviews because of just time wasting tactics that might get involved.
Teams usually have like 3 reviews or something like this, if I'm not mistaken, 3-5 reviews. So like it's a game of 90 minutes. If you waste all your reviews and shit happens, then it's all your problem.
It is. I'm not I mean, not even just the players, even the coaches have the authority to ask it of their linesmen, to ask it of the official. But having more is, it just messes with me. I don't like the concept.
Yeah, I think we should start winding up quickly. It's been like over 90 minutes.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
how often? Like one last question, yeah. Like how soon do you think this will be implemented into the top leagues in Europe? Next season or the year
Nah,
after?
nah, not next season. Because also, you know, the FAs also need to try out this as well. They need to, maybe they're trialing it already. We don't know, but like, you know, the FAs also need to
So
try out
maybe
this
in
and
2 years.
see. Yeah, in 2 or 3 years, depending on the success at the World Cup as well. So that's also a key thing, depending on the success as well. But then one key thing is that, you know, FIFA tested this at the Etihad Stadium in England, Manchester City Stadium. So that maybe the English FA is already checking into this. I don't know. But I think because I think the Germans were one of the first to, you know, implement the VAR. So I think maybe they might also already be looking into the offside thing as well, because, you know, it changes from league to league. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, let's wrap it up. As Sinead rightly pointed, we've spent so much time. If you guys have any last thoughts, I don't know, Yadu, any last contribution?
Nah, I probably think not. I mean, I'm always interested in all the transfer rumors that are flying around. And
Yeah.
I really like the really outlandish ones. So if you find a good rumor that has no base in reality, you can send it to me, or you can send it to our Instagram page. We always like a good laugh. So you can send it to our Instagram page. It might be linked in the description. And yeah, I'll just pass it over to Sunaid.
Yeah, shout out to RM Committee for their brilliant work. Check them out on Instagram, and we have a new series called Drop the Mic Drop. My bad, Mic Drop, which we are starting to implement as soon as possible, which will be basically us reacting to hot takes that you guys send us in. You can either send us it through Twitter or through Instagram via DM, or you can just post it in the comment section of the pinned post, the mic drop post on our Instagram page. So yeah, like if you guys like our content, please do get involved. So I think this is the first time we are taking an initiative to kind of engage with our listeners, and it would be really great to read some of you guys's